We've brought our Australian gladiator guests here, the magnificent Iron Bridge Gorge Museum at Bliss Hill, Shropshire, England.
It's one of the finest open-air museums in the country.
And it's a genuine journey back in time. Almost everything you see here is as it was in 19th century Victorian England.
Oh, in that case, we'll get a chance to see your joke book.
Haven't I seen her on Australian television? In Prisoner Cell Block H.
She's got a point, though.
We've got the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and they bring me all this way to see this.
Here at Bliss Hill is a replica of the beautiful ornate letterboxes they had in Victorian Britain. And this one is still in use today.
Excuse me, ladies. Just posting a fan letter.
Fan letter hunter?
Who to?
Why, me, of course.
Going into the Victorian chemist here at Bliss Hill is like walking into another world.
All these coloured bottles show the different medicines. There must be a remedy for every possible pain and irritation in existence.
Did you say every pain and irritation? Yep. Did you hear that? Every pain and irritation. That means they could have an antidote for John Anderson. Shop!
Gladiators.
Back in time. Gotta get back in time. Gotta get back in time. Get me back in time.
Once again, we've brought our Australian friends to experience a piece of genuine British history.
We're at the Iron Bridge Gorge Open Air Museum here at Bliss Hill, and behind us is the Iron Bridge itself.
It was the first structure of its kind in the world. It was built in 1779 and it spans the River Severn using 378 tons of cast iron.
It took 3 months to put up, and it was designed by a guy called John Iron Mad Wilkinson. And do you know what it says on his gravestone?
No, Hunter, what did it say on his gravestone?
Rust in peace. Rust in peace. Iron Bridge.
I get it.
In 1837, Rowland Hill put forward the idea of a prepaid postal service. As a result, pillar boxes like this one sprung up all over Victorian Britain.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Rio, I'm sending this card to my mum. What time is the last post?
Last collection, 1930?
1930? You mean I'm 66 years too late?
Boom, boom! And you all thought he was a misery. Nice joke, Falcon.
Joke? What's the joke? The museum here at Bliss Hill has its own pigsty. In fact, that looks like Warrior's ex-girlfriend.
You bring me to the nicest place this week. Is that you or the pig?
What do you think?
It's you! What? Come on. Pigs don't want your clench up their snout. Sorry, boys. Take them downwind.
Gladiators.
Back in time. Gotta get back in time. Gotta get back in time. Get me back in time.
Once again, we've brought our Australian gladiator guests to one of Britain's finest open-air museums, the Iron Bridge Gorge Museum, here in Bliss Hill in Shropshire.
Everything you see is a piece of living history. It's a perfect representation of what life was like in the 18th and 19th centuries.
And this museum takes us back to a time that none of us are old enough to remember.
Right, where are we going to go first then?
Well, one of us is old enough to remember.
What? What? Who's picking on me for? Why me?
Because the electric light bulb hadn't been invented, candles like these were used at home and at work throughout the 19th century, and they were made in places like this.
These days they make candles from wax, but in Victorian England they used to make it from what is called tallow, which is animal fat.
I do believe this is how Warrior was made.
This must be one of the smaller setups at Bliss Hill, and one of the hardest to find. Tucked away in a corner, the harness maker.
In the days before motor cars and steam engines, when everything was horse-drawn, there was plenty of harness makers just like this one.
There's still a huge demand for saddles and harnesses even today. In fact, The guy that worked this place over 100 years ago could probably have made anything from leather.
Oh, God. It's a shame he's not still around. He could have made a couple of models of these two.